We made it. We're here.
We made it to here. Cotillion is
Ladies
not
and
going
gentlemen.
for inventory management and is instead going
We
to
made
advance
it
the
to
story,
here.
go figure.
What is it?
He's the same as the stone we gave to Pater?
That's right. This is a quartz vein.
Oh, Pater.
Look how he says it's a quartz vein, like there would be lots of naturally occurring rock structures up here. You have to go to a lot of trouble to set those up on a sky town.
It's
I
true.
don't question the motives of my betters. All I know is that we need to rid the place of some unwelcome guests.
Some thieves trying to make some coin?
Not quite. An old division of the Cardinal's army.
What? Have you lost it? Let the army deal with them.
I don't question the motives of
Who
my
would the
betters.
Cardinals' army
Forward
fight?
march.
The rebels, I guess? Seems
I
weird
guess.
for them to have an army in this very contained sky town.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, it also seems weird for them to have a mine in this sky town.
Yeah, but like, if you... Like, that makes more sense to me only in the sense that you would want some amount of sustainability, so even if you're going skyward, you're like, well, there's like natural resources in the rocks, so we'll just bring a big rock. Now, it's very convenient that it's just like full of quartz, but maybe they had the technology to
Don't
find
worry.
it.
I got your back.
Kelsey's Gunman, level 20. I
Good luck
didn't
to
know that was
Cotillion.
the name of an enemy.
Apparently it is.
No, it's not.
Oh.
What do you
well.
think that would read if it was blurrier and covered in purple?
Anything, really. Could be anything.
Yeah, it's true. It could be anything.
Could be a boat.
On the sidewalk of the street behind my office building, where I will sometimes go on walks during break,
Yeah.
someone put like an old CRT TV on the grass, like screened down, and that's like whatever. And
Okay.
then like a day or two later, someone like opened it up. I wasn't sure why, but they left it there. And then like the next day, it had been sealed again. And then today, which is like the next workday after that, someone gingerly placed 2 pairs of deceased sandals on top of it. And I just couldn't
Deceased-
figure that out.
Deceased sandals? What are deceased sandals exactly?
Well, like sandals that are clearly fully discarded.
Got it. Got
They
it.
went to Grixis Beach. I hear it's lovely no time of year. Had to discard all their sandals. Why can't I hold all these sandals?
Damn it.
When you said someone opened it up, like someone like took it apart?
Well, yeah, like, it was basically such that if I had wished to do so during the time it had been opened up, I could have lifted the back of the TV and looked at all the cathode ray tubes and shit. Like, instead of it being a closed system, someone had opened it up
Huh.
as if to specifically steal some component out of the really old TV.
Interesting. I was browsing Reddit the other day and somebody made a post. Apparently their grandfather is still using an old computer that runs on DOS and uses floppies.
Rats in a trap.
What does he do with it?
I don't know, like...
Really slow
Word
AOL era
processes?
porn.
Telnets and uses Netcat for email. Just manually types out all of the required data fields for an email. Take like forever.
How many required data fields are there that, like, I'm unaware of?
Well, I mean,
Would
it
it be
depends on
measured in, like, dozens?
No. You just need recipient, sender. Wow, this did not work out.
Everything is very
Nothing
far
that you
apart.
do, nothing that you can do can be worse than the last episode. So you're fine. It just can't be.
Are you excited to rewatch the last episode, Vasco?
No. No. I think I'm just gonna tag it with the word failure and never look at it again.
That's probably not a bad idea.
I'm actually pretty sure I know what I would use as the episode title, so I think we're good.
Oh, I'm excited to see what it will be.
I bet if you thought really hard and could remember things, you would know what it was.
Well, I can't remember things, so there's no risk
Yeah,
of
it's
that.
kind of an issue. You guys do anything exciting for this past weekend, which hashtag dating this misery fest was Easter and Passover, I think? It was definitely Easter. I think it was also Passover?
It was also Passover. Yeah, we had a little Seder
Those
at home.
don't necessarily overlap, do they? Or do they always?
No, I don't
think they do.
Easter and Passover necessarily overlap, Professor?
I believe that Easter is always around Passover.
Right, well, they have to be
Yeah,
somewhere
they're-
near each other, because
Yeah,
that's
but
like the
they're
whole point
not
of
necessarily
Easter.
like the same weekend.
Yeah.
I am not attentive enough to when Easter is to know.
Yeah.
I think
so,
that's
like,
true. It's good
Passover
enough
is-
for someone fact-checking us can scream into the void if they want to.
Yeah. So, like, Passover is on a specific date in the Hebrew lunar calendar, and Easter is always on a Sunday in April. So I think
Well,
that...
it's not necessarily
not always in
April. It's a
April.
similar situation where it's like...
Oh, really? Is it
It's
not
not a
always
lunar
April?
calendar, but it's based on, like, the Catholic calendar, which isn't the same as, like, the Gregorian calendar. I don't know how.
Oh, really? All right.
There was
well,
one
Professor
year
Google could tell
where
us.
Google
Easter
could
fell
tell
on
us,
my
but
birthday.
we'll never be able to get to it.
We'll never.
It's too far away. When I'm in Palo Alto this weekend, I'll go stop by Google and ask them.
Okay.
That reminds me of that awful... Is that College Humor? The sketch of, like, actually having to ask a human being your Google search questions. How cute!
There was a there was like a if Google was a human kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
There was,
that's-
like
yeah.
there was like a bunch of famous actors. Like I think Thomas Middleditch was in it. The guy from Silicon Valley. I don't know if it was College Humor though.
I think
There was
that's
a
a
similar-
different one than the one I'm thinking of, but, like, it's the same concept.
Yeah, there was a similar series of videos that he was in, where I think it was like job interviews for video game characters, and like all the Street Fighter characters were in it. So like somebody was just like dressed up as Blanca, but like just like talked like a normal person. It was good. It was good. I like found it by accident once. I think there was also one for Mortal Kombat. Anyway.
It reminds me of, like, a while ago, I remember there being someone did, like, a web series that, I don't know if it actually ever got more episodes, but it was like, it was basically like a dude working in an office, and then, like, more and more, like, World of Warcraft characters showed up and just also worked in the office. So it'd be like Jaina and Uther and Ul'dan and, like, just, like, increasingly bizarre situations where, like, he's just, like, a normal guy, and they'd be like, I think you should channel demon fire. And it's like, that's not what we're doing here, Ul'dan.
Watch your aim. You don't want to hit any cords.
Nobody would miss a piece or two.
Was he
Quartz
just talking
have
about like
inherent
killing
value?
people?
I thought he was talking about, like, stealing quartz from the mine.
Well, wouldn't that just kill people? I don't quite understand
Well,
how it works.
that's
Like,
sort of my... Well, I'm not sure if quartz is, like, inherently linked to a person, and even so, like, does the quartz have value outside of being tied to your life force? Like, is quartz just good? Like, people trying to, like, get new countertops up in Basel? Like,
I mean, quartz is good for electronics, but I don't see a lot of those like in this world. There's more gears.
really? But that's sort of my point, is, like, I don't see why it would be valuable to steal it unless you knew it was to someone important who you'd basically be, like, taking hostage, you know? You'd be like,
Yeah, right. See, I wonder like what the distribution of like people's quartz is throughout the mine. You know what I mean?
I've always wondered in some way, like, is there, like, a finite capacity of people? Like, assuming all other resources are somehow sufficiently renewable that we can live in the sky town of Basel forever, like, if we run out of quartz, just no more people can be born?
It's a good question.
And how is the quartz mine not better guarded if it is so integral to people's life forces?
Yeah, and how do you determine like how big a piece of quartz per person?
I mean, Pater's is pretty small. I don't know.
Right. And like, could Paters like be like immediately next to Zephyrs? So like in trying to get Paters out, you like inadvertently kill Zephyr. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I've thought about stuff like this in the past. There's a lot of unanswered questions about this like hastily thrown together like fictional rule system.
What are you talking about? This game was decades of life for the creator, whose name I don't know.
So I don't think anyone actually answered my question. You guys do anything this weekend?
Yeah, so I went to we had a little Seder here at home, where we made all the trappings of a Seder, including
Do
some
you
very
usually trap
delicious
someone
matzo
as
balls.
part of the Seder ritual? You like hunt
that's
someone
it.
down?
Yeah, you know, they call it the whole thing where you're like leaving a seat open for Elijah. Yeah, Elijah is just the random dude that you kidnap.
Right. Yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
But does he have to be named Elijah?
No.
Elijah's just like going into hiding around Passover.
It's kind of like a.
It's like symbolic, right? It's
Yeah. It's like today you're Elijah. You know, maybe
Yeah.
next year we'll be in Jerusalem. That's sort of how it goes. Anyway, we had a nice little Seder here at home, and then we went to a Seder with the professor's uncle's aunt and uncle. It was a little complicated. Like, unrelated through marriage, or related through marriage, but, like, not really directly related. Nice folks, they live here, they live in, down the street.
step-great-granduncle. Got it.
Right, exactly. And we had a nice time.
That's nice. I like that story. It's a good story.
What about you, Vasco? What was your Easter weekend experience?
I went and stayed at my parents' house for the weekend after I did like a really early stream on Saturday of Yoshi's Crafted World, and I found like all the best levels of the game in one clump, and it was nice because I found some of that game to be inexplicably frustrating.
So, quick tangent to do with
yeah.
Yoshi. The professor and I, as a way to pass the time recently, have been playing the Yoshi's Woolly World since we've never actually beaten it.
Yeah, on the Wii U.
Yeah,
We started on this channel.
Right. The latter levels are rather brutal.
Yeah, I'm not sure how far I got. She was saying like World 4, and I'm like, I don't remember what World 4 is. I feel like I got to World 4. I don't know about much farther than that.
Yeah, is World 4 the World 5 is the snow one, right? Yeah, World 4 is just kind of like a bunch of random shit. Like there was a whole level where you're just like hanging on curtains.
Oh, I remember that.
They were like sliding around on rods, and like you had to jump
Yeah.
from one to the other, and doing that with two people, where only one of you controls, where the camera goes.
Yeah, that seems worse.
It's not great. It's not great. I'll be honest.
Although in fairness, I feel like random stuff is just sort of the MO of Crafted World in general.
Yeah.
Like, the worlds are not very clearly defined. Like, even, they make these little, like, sub-worlds of, like, 3 levels at a time. And, like, sometimes they'll like, do something to imply, like, yes, this is the food-related world. And then the third one is, like, this is the dangling from string spike bottom cocoon man level. And you're like, that's definitely not food, you know. It's just not.
So, would you say the Crafted World is not as good as Woolly World? I would say it's definitely not as cute.
I think... I would say it's not as good, but only by nature of personal preference. It does things differently, and I just like Woolly World better.
Okay.
In terms of cuteness, I don't know. I think it's actually reasonably close. Like, I like the Woolly look better, but there's some really cute stuff. Like, I don't know how far you are in Crafted World, but, like, there's some really good stuff in that game.
I've only seen Professor play it. I haven't played it yet myself.
I would say that, like, Crafted World is less consistent, but maybe has more, like, individually extremely cute things.
Got it. Got it.
But yeah, that was nice. I found like a pirate level and like an Arctic level, and they were both amazing.
No,
And
that's
then
fun.
after I did that, my parents and I watched the new Twilight Zone on the CBS streaming service that my dad has, mostly so he has the option to get mad at Star Trek Discovery if he wants to.
How was it? I heard some not so great things.
It's like you kind of have to be in for it, I think, because it's like the short version of how I would critique it is like the production values are great, the acting is good with only one real exception so far, which would be very much a spoiler to point out what it is in particular.
Okay.
But like the camera work, the lighting, like stuff like that, it like really feels like a modern day Twilight Zone, which is great because that show was like really interesting visually.
Right.
The writing is not great. It's not terrible, but like pretty much every episode I find myself at about like the halfway mark being like, wow, this would be so much more effective if you made like 3 small changes.
Yeah, the critiques that I heard were that it primarily that it just lacked ingenuity or originality. Like it felt like a lot of the reviews were saying that it was a little trite and just not well thought out.
That wouldn't even be my biggest complaint about it. Well thought out is definitely an issue I have.
Yeah.
There's like a couple of them where like if you put any real thought into the premise given to you, like it's like it gets really confusing. It kind of falls apart.
Yeah.
It's not bad though. It's just like I definitely don't think it's like an easy recommend to anyone. It's like if you want a sci-fi anthology and you're more interested in having a conversation about ideas than you are about a self-satisfying story that works on all levels, then yeah, it's probably for you.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but would not like highly recommend it.
That's too bad.
Yeah,
He was safe.
it was safe.
He is also safe.
And then also Game of Thrones.
Yes, I am an episode behind, so no spoilers, please. I watched last week's, but I have yet to watch this week's.
I mean, the only thing I would immediately remark about this week's isn't really a spoiler if you saw the previous one, which was like, look at all those people. Look at them.
There are
so
people.
many people.
They are all in the same room for the first time.
They're all in the same room.
Since the
Yeah.
beginning of the series.
It's like, there's a scene at the beginning of this week's where you just... There's basically like a moment where the camera just like pans across like everyone, and you're just like, damn, like everyone, there's so many people.
I wonder how many of them had like never met before or hadn't seen each other in years.
It's an
Because,
interesting
like, the characters
question.
just don't interact.
Yeah.
Because there are times when the characters like just nearly miss each other during the series.
Oh yeah.
And so
Sure.
it's possible
Especially
that they were
earlier
like, you know, sharing the makeup trailer together and just not in the same
Yeah.
scenes. But like you know, it's very possible that like I don't know, some of them just haven't seen each other since the beginning of the series.
Yeah. Also, my mom, who likes to give gifts for Easter, got me some magic cards, including she went to the trouble of figuring out which is the version of the Vasco Planeswalker I like, and there's like 7 of them.
Sure,
Wow.
leave him to me.
How did she do that? She just
Well,
like
I mean, she
casually
has-
called you up and like, "Hey Vasco, it's Mom. Just curious.
She
Your
did ask
thoughts
me at
on the
one point a
various
question to
Braskins?"
narrow it down significantly, but at the point that she did, she was sort of like... She was basically sort of like, I want to get you something nice. I see you play this Vasco Planeswalker that you like a lot, because she's a pirate. Which one is that?
Your mom's a good mom.
That was a great mom.
You got a good one there.
Yeah. It's really unfortunate she got saddled with me. I mean, you've seen us. You know us. I will say that my mom always speaks very fondly of you, Tech, and
Aw.
will frequently refer to you as, like, the little brother I never had, which is pretty high praise for my mom, considering
Aw.
how high regard she holds for children in, I think.
I guess you are technically older than me, so you would be my older brother.
It's true, and it's weird.
It is weird.
I'm very old, though.
Yeah, you are ancient. I generally think that about you all the time.
It's
God, he's
very
so
complicated.
old! Oh, can't handle how old he is.
I was born, and here I die. Cotillion, you do anything this weekend?
Not particularly. I had lunch with my parents and grandparents on Saturday, and then I went to my grandparents for dinner on Sunday.
Did you manage any inventories?
No.
That's a nice little break. Pew, pew, pew.
I think a nice little break is when you get one of those little, like, fun-sized Kit Kats and you only take half of it. I think that's a fun break.
Well, yeah, you might be right about that. Cotillion, I am on the official second season now of the Adventure Zone.
Nice.
I thought
I'm
for a
enjoying
second
it.
You were gonna say you, like, bought the Adventure Zone. I got bored and I just own it now. Don't ask how it works.
They're actually coming to Brooklyn, but I managed to miss tickets and they're sold out already, so I'm a little bummed about that.
That's a bummer.
Oh, yeah, I actually saw that they were coming to Brooklyn, and I thought about getting you surprise tickets, but it's
Aw.
not. I don't think that they were doing Adventure Zone in Brooklyn. I think they were just doing Mabim Bam in Brooklyn.
No, they're two separate shows. There's a Mabim Bam and there's an Adventure Zone.
Oh, well,
They're like
you know,
2 different days.
there
To
is
be
a
clear,
disclaimer.
one of those is definitely not a word.
There's a disclaimer on their tour flyer saying
Yes, I
that
saw
they're
that
not
doing
necessarily
balance.
going to be doing balance, and I was like, I don't know if he'd like it if it was, if it
Yeah,
wasn't
I mean,
balance.
I would definitely prefer to see Balance live, since, like, a lot of all those fun characters and all the yelling that you get to do about them. I'm guessing that it's probably going to be some offshoot of Amnesty, because it's, like, called, like, the Monster Tour or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It
How
seemed,
often
it
are
sounded
they,
like
actually touring?
It's a good question. I don't think they tour that often, but they definitely do, like, non-local shows every now and then.
I think they just tour once a year.
Really?
They kind of they list.
Seems like
I
a
listened
lot.
to the most recent the Adventure Zone, and they announced the tour, and they were like, this year we're doing this thing. I was like, so you okay? I don't know. They just made it sound like it's like a once a year thing.
Okay.
To be clear, is the Adventure Zone a podcast about the podcast?
Yes.
Yes, it's actually called the Adventure Zone. Yeah.
It's like
It's
that.
great.
The Magic player Brian Kibler, for some reason, has like
I think you like
long
yellow.
had something about like repeatedly repeating his name. I think his like Reddit flair is like Brian Kibler, and
Like Brian Kibler's his handle.
yeah, but like it's also obviously his name. Sometimes I feel like I've seen it go like really deep though. I don't remember exactly how it
It's
goes.
just one freak after another.
And that was
It's
one of the
Highway
Look,
Hunter.
I was right.
Had my fill.
It's one freak after another, he says, looking at an inanimate plug. Look at that freaky plug.
Yeah, the title of the Adventure Zone was actually like a joke somebody made about how we're gonna do like a an after show and we're gonna call it the Adventure Zone, and then they actually did that.
I think you two should start a podcast where you just talk about what they talked about in the Adventure Zone. And of
think
course
that's a
you would
good
call it the Adventure Zone.
Zone.
Yeah. I guess you need to tack adventure on the end somehow. I think that's the only way to maintain balance.
Yep. Yeah, but I'm really enjoying the new arc. I'm glad where they settled on what they did, because I think it's fun. I like somebody mentioned in the recent the Adventure Zone that I listened to, that I don't think is the most recent one. Like, hey, are you guys ever going back to D&D? Because like one of the things that was so fun is you guys pulling like random bullshit like spell cards and like doing ridiculous things that aren't. And they were like, meh. which is a little sad. But I think that there's definitely room
Wait,
for
they're
some
really
of that
not?
fun.
I thought it was a D&D thing.
Well, so the first
Did you
season,
other tabletop games now or something?
other role-playing
they're
games.
different. Yeah.
So
This
they
one
started
they're
out.
doing right now is called Monster of the Week, and it's just kind of supposed to be like you're playing an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the TV show.
Yeah.
That could be fun. As long as
Yeah,
it's
it
done
is
better
fun.
than Buffy, unpopular opinion.
Oh. Yeah, it's interesting. So yeah, so they did like 3 years of Dungeons and Dragons, and then they did a couple short, like, 3 to 5 episode experimental things where each person ran the game, and they used sort of similar mechanics for each one, but slightly different gameplay, and ended up with where they are. Their criticism of Dungeons and Dragons as a game for the format that they're playing was sort of like, it's not like super great for storytelling, especially when you're in like the middle of a battle and you're just like talking about numbers and rolling dice a lot. Like, the story sort of gets clunky,
Yeah,
and also
Does their system provide a solution to that where it still has combat that is interesting but is not mathematically heavy?
yeah. So this, I mean, I won't go into all the details of the rules, but yeah, it's interesting. It allows a bit more autonomy by the players as to like how the big battles go, and there's a lot more conversation and interaction, and those interactions have a lot more effect on the gameplay itself. Basically, I think their major concern was just like, there's a lot of bullshit you can do in Dungeons and Dragons, and so it was hard for them to like tell a coherent story without like finding some weird spell card that could just like completely break the game as they are playing it, which happened a couple times.
Are
Woo,
you ready
Zephyr.
for that? Yeah. I like an opponent who will check in with you in the middle of battle and be like, "Hey, was that too much for you?"
Pew pew pew.
This is Gelzy's fencer, by the way. He pawns his stolen forts, I guess.
Or maybe he's just really into fencing, with swords and shit.
Well, I mean, that's literally what he is, because he's a swords guy.
Oh yeah, he does have a sword, you're right.
That was
Well, he's
what
dead now.
Zephyr wasn't ready for. Yeah, he's a little. I
Ooh!
like Gelzy's assault.
Aw.
That sounds like his signature Planeswalker spell from War of the Spark.
Yeah.
Card type: Legendary Planeswalker Gelzy.
It does kind of sound like
-2
Planeswalker,
guns!
doesn't it?
Yeah. So what's the reason you can't go to the pre-release this time? Because you always have one.
Because I'm fucking working. I'm going all the way to San Francisco for some bullshit job that I'm going to be there for like 5 days.
This is bullshit. Also, don't they have pre-releases there? What gives?
No, yeah, you think I'd fucking have time? I'm going to be so goddamn busy this week. I can't even, like, ugh. I can't even, you guys. Bullshit.
Is that one Eldrazi in play? The one that stops you from casting even cost spells?
Yeah, pretty much.
I think you're legally obligated to make that joke if that card ever appears in your game. I've never seen it get played and someone not immediately go, "Guys, I can't even."
I actually never thought about that nor heard it, and it's great. And it touches my soul.
I enjoy it, except for the fact that it's some, like, real top grade. It's like B+ tier Eldrazi bullshit, is that particular card.
I mean,
It's not
Eldrazi
quite
bullshit
at the level of, like, the original, like, Titans and shit, but, like, it's pretty close without going over.
Yeah.
Strange stones, aren't they?
You think there's a stone?
Double Plug!
You think I care?
That's my favorite adult film. Why would I say that on air?
I feel like they were just playing the, like, the improv game questions. Like, not a single one of them, like, made a statement. They were all just, like, asking questions of each other.
Yeah, I hear you.
Pew pew pew.
These pokes are surprisingly undurable.
Yeah,
There's
right?
a word for that.
Aww.
How come we never got like a Resonance of Fate like kart racer where people are riding flutes and UFO catchers and stuff?
Oh my god, that'd be so good. They are in another game. Wasn't there some like weird PlayStation version of Smash Brothers that they are in?
Not Smash Brothers. There's something called Project X Zone. It's like a tactical RPG, and it's like all about like jamming a bunch of properties together. I played some amount of the second one. I think they're in the first one too. Where like, not all of them are. I think maybe like Zephyr and
just the
Vashon,
two
but
guys,
not Leanne
right?
or something. Yeah. And then the second one has
Son
all
of a
three of them
bitch.
and someone else from
Look
the
at this
game.
asshole.
Gorgliano, maybe?
Oh my god, really? What
I
happened
never
here?
finished the game. The game wasn't that interesting, and like, it tried to like tie like 24 properties with like completely dissimilar stories together,
Right.
and like if you do that the right way, it's really cool. But like, it wasn't.
Oh, you mean like Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah, it was very Kingdom Hearts. No, like legitimately, it was like exactly that kind of thing, where it was like there's potential for this to be cool. But, like, instead everyone's just, like, talking too much. And then all of a sudden there's a battle.
Yeah, that
And,
sounds
like,
like
the
Kingdom
combat
Hearts to me.
system, like, wasn't great. And, like, if you wanted to focus on certain characters you like, there really wasn't a way to do it.
Oh really? You're just like stuck playing with everybody? And
You
have
kind
no
of just
choice?
have, like, everyone all the time. At a certain point, like, I remember being able to, like, divide them into sort of, like, teams for, like, different things happening simultaneously in the story or something. But, like, it wasn't just like you could set up a team of your favorite characters and do that. You kind of just had to play with everyone. And also, like, for the most part, all the moves were very similar, so it kind of didn't matter what characters you were playing. Like, it just didn't... It didn't do the things I want that kind of mashup to do.
Yeah. Hey,
Not that there were, like, a
it's
ton of characters in that I was, like, super excited about, but there were some. There was, like, the Resonance of Fate characters, there were some Mega Man characters, and Phoenix Wright was in that game.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Was his main power to yell objection?
I think his main power was to throw legal documents.
That's just as good.
That
Yeah.
seems right.
Gotta scrap Vulcan.
You're doing some stuff here.
Oh, I thought I could do it.
It was a nice try.
That's really close. You're still doing really well. Ow.
Okay. Go team?
Okay.
The damage noise just like gave up. You did it.
So much fire.
Dark blue?
Yeah, I guess.
Won't take much to beat these into submission.
Oh, good. My escape hex.
Oh, there you go. That's what you wanted, right?
Do you like the vague antecedent of that dialogue? It won't take much to beat these into submission. Not these guys or enemies or things. These. Say goodbye to these, Michael.
Oh man, that show.
Yeah.
The professor and I, also as a way to pass the time, have been watching all of Parks and Rec, because she's never seen it before.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that.
I think she's
How's
enjoying
that
it.
going?
I don't
That's
think
a
she's
great
super
show.
attached. Her concern is that there's no like Pam and Jim like like real straight man character that you can like relate to. Like they're all kind of cartoons.
Yeah, I can actually see that. That's a reasonable issue to have, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
so
like a
like
personal preference thing, but like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
legitimate.
like there's Mark in the first 2 seasons, but he's kind of terrible.
Yeah.
And then there's like kind of Ben in season 3.
Yeah, for like a limited time, and then like once
Yeah.
once that relationship changes.
Yeah, then he just becomes the Calzone man.
Yeah.
Um,
He's like, I love his character though. He's great.
Me too, me too. I'm a big fan. I mean, I think the show's great, but that's her biggest complaint about it anyway. Ah, level 40. Indeed.
Yeah, we gotta do something to equalize these fucking characters, man.
I mean,
The
is it
answer
time
is
to go
grenades,
back
but
to
like I
the-
never want to do it.
I know. Is it time to go back to the arena?
Probably.
Yeah.
Or
I
hear
should
me
shoot
out.
the gold box, right?
The gold
Yeah.
box you can shoot, right? Isn't that what we determined?
You can shoot all of them.
Well, I mean, you can shoot it without repercussion, as opposed to the others.
Oh,
Or was
really?
it a different one?
I
I
don't
think I
remember.
was saying
that we
something from the
determined?
strategy guide about one of the box types being indestructible.
Yeah, that sounds like
Oh, really?
a thing that's possible.
I do not remember that.
How do neither of you remember that? I was not the one to research this.
Well, I don't remember anything, so that's not that
Well,
surprising.
yeah, that's true.
Truth.
That's, yeah. Hey, do you think someone will ever make a ROM hack of this game where, like, the only line of dialogue Zephyr says is "time to die," but every time he says it, he gets louder and angrier?
That seems great. I would play that.
Like one of those. Have you ever seen? There's at least dozens of weird edits of the movie B Movie, starring Jerry Seinfeld as a talking bee.
No, I was not aware of this thing.
You weren't even aware of the movie? Because the movie's like a whole big
No,
internet meme.
I mean, I know what the movie is, and I'm like
Oh.
kind of aware of it being a meme, but I didn't know that like there are alternate edits of it.
Well, there's tons of weird ones where, like, there's stuff like B Movie, but every time someone says the word B, it's 5% faster. And, like...
Just the word B?
Yeah, the word B. It's said frequently in the movie. And so, like, you know, the way it progresses, like, there's basically no third act because it takes, like, a fraction of a second.
Oh, like the whole movie gets sped up, not just...
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fun.
And I've seen, like, it branched out, but I think that started with B-movie edits. But, like, I saw one that was, like, Shrek, but every time a character takes a step, it gets faster.
I was
That's
concerned
crazy.
that this room would have a tank in it again.
I'm glad that it's not.
It's always less bad. You never know exactly what it will give you when you retread a
Might
room.
not be the best, but I've made it this
There's
far.
that tank you wanted.
Yeah, but this is different. We're at least kind of close to the end. We're at the 38-minute mark, but who's counting?
You are, apparently.
I'm incapable of counting. I'm just going by what this thing on my wrist says. Music in this place is very interesting, in that it's not particularly similar to, like, really much else in the game.
It's very, like, kind of...
I think the Basilica music toward the end is a little like this, but there's really not much else that comes
Yeah.
to mind. You know, it's like one thing for, like, handguns and, like, basically submachine guns to not, like, instantly shred your human characters. And it's another for a tank to just, like, unload on your character and they flinch a little bit and go like, ow!
Yeah, it's true. I feel like you're having, like, weird loading problems with Leanne. Like, things are taking longer than they should be to target. don't know. Like, you were right over it. It was like, brrrr.
Yeah, I saw that. I wasn't sure what the deal with that was.
Mayor's scopes.
This is the solution.
Oh man, Tech will have an inventory management episode where he'll
God.
have to upgrade all the guns and then do the arena.
Oh, God. That sounds terrible.
And
Especially
thus,
since I don't know how to
inexplicably,
do
no
the
additional
former.
episodes of this series were recorded somehow.
This just cuts to the pre-recorded
Yeah.
final boss fight from the last run. Look, we did it.
We did it!
Something about plain Jello. I told my dad the plain Jello thing, and it made him actually upset. He's not okay with it.
The idea of plain Jello.
Yeah, he like physically like shuddered. He was just like, oh. It's like,
Dude.
I'm sorry.
maybe you can do
It's
it.
not worth it.
Can you
it's
do
not
it?
worth it. Just retry.
Yeah, he's right. You should probably just retry.
It's 800 rupees that we lost, guys.
Yeah, what are you gonna do with
800.
those rupees?
Yeah, what is that, like €2?
Wow. Gale C's Fencer regains scratch. Roll fast.
There's sort of a rock, paper, scissors relationship where the swordsman, like, resists gun damage.
Yeah.
That's not a real thing, but it sounds convincing, right?
Yeah.
Or at least if it is a real thing, I don't know shit about it. Alright, humans, and also Cotillion. Tell me, what is the thing you're most excited for?
Just ever.
Pretty much.
I don't got a lot at this very moment. Not a great time.
Froyo?
I mean, definitely not Froyo. I'm very excited to no longer be in the month of April when that happens.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems decent.
Yeah. Though I will tell you, we got some spring going on here in the new of Jersey, and it's pretty great.
Did they push another OS update for Jersey?
No, they tried to, but it didn't pass.
It's Jersey Spring.
Yeah.
Pew pew pew. Damn, these motherfuckers were gaining their like health like roll crazy. Perfect triangle. Please execute. 1 resonance point.
God, it is 1 point.
This is real bad though.
This could be a lot worse than it is.
It doesn't smell good.
No. You blew off some of its guns. You broke its gauge. If you break a tank's gauge, does that just mean that the unseen operator can't tell how much fuel he has left?
That's a good question. Inquiring minds.
That also brings to mind an interesting question I've never really thought about.
What's that?
I know the answer isn't 0, but like, how many female
0.
enemies are there? It's not 0. There's definitely like lady like fencers or something at the Basilica at least.
Oh, that's a good point. Not that many, that's for sure.
It's like not 0, but it's like real close to 0.
Yeah. It's probably like 2 or 3.
Yeah, it's like real low, even by like JRPG standards, I think.
Pew pew pew.
Get that hunter.
You know, I will say, I find fighting the big dudes way more satisfying in this game than fighting, like, the little dudes.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I think there's also definitely a design element where in order to make something difficult, they'll have it focus more on the smaller guys, because it's harder and also less fun.
Yeah.
Stuff like like Tesla Tortoise is like so much fun to play against. It's like pretty easy with triangles,
Yeah.
but like it's really satisfying to do it. Like it feels really good to play that.
Yeah. Truth. You gunsed him pretty hard.
Says you. Can't prove that.
It's true.
there
He
is
threw all
video
his legal
evidence.
documents previously in a JRPG fight from a different game.
No, it's not the spot. A little to the left.
That would also be an edit of this game, where the only thing that Zephyr can say is this the spot? And it gets increasingly lewd. Is this the spot?
Ugh. Who is Gelsey?
He's
Boss.
the guy with the voice of Chowder's dad, or whatever, Chowder. Chef Mungdal. He's like a mercenary. We saw him in a cutscene already, but none of us remembers it.
Is he the one that was like
He
yelling
sounds
about
like
the
this!
Yeah, the one who was yelling about the ceiling.
Yes, that guy.
That is
He was like
grandparents.
telling, he was like telling some weird stories, like my grandmother always said this, or was it my grandfather? I'd always trust my grandmother, but definitely not my grandfather.
Yeah, right, I remember now. Are we about to fight him now? Is that what's happening?
Yep.
Probably, that should be the thing.
After I get my escape hex.
Yeah, buddy.
Ding, level up.
Alright, let's
Cutscene.
get this boss fight over with.
Yeah, I slipped right past them.
Right past
Right
him.
past those guards.
With murder.
Tactical espionage action.
Something like that. And it's never good to side against it. Surrender now. Make this easy.
But that makes us brothers! Why not rule the world together? Send chandelier crashing down!
He talks a good
I feel like
game.
those ideas are mutually exclusive.
Nah. Sounds like too much work to me.
Indeed.
We'll just take you out, collect the bounty, and call it a day.
That is literally what we're gonna do.
Awesome.
My grandma would put me on her knee. And
Oh,
this is
boy.
what she used to say. People without a heart
Have no right to live! So now you die!
What about your grandpa?
Who cares?
Zephyr
Why
wasn't
would he-
around for that. That joke doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. Exactly. Don't forget to win.
You look familiar. One of Victor's was
I seem to recall one of this guy's special moves is that if you kill all his swordsmen, he spawns more.
I think you're right about that.
Be careful.
I don't like the sound of
Yeah, this guy's obviously gonna
That's
recover scratch damage like a mother. Or a
That's actually
grandmother.
not as bad
Or a
as I thought it would
grandfather?
be. You wanna shoot the barrel next to him?
I want to shoot him first.
Sure.
But then, yes, we'll do this.
It didn't do anything.
Was it a status barrel?
I think it might have been.
I feel like at least one of those guys should have been in range for that, though.
Yeah, right?
What's this? Are you trembling?
Oh,
Ugh.
oh I hate the
Oh,
status.
boy.
It's a bad status.
It's not great.
It's definitely not as good as, like, Alexis. That's a much better status symbol than being electrified.
This has not gone great.
A double plus. I don't know what you're talking about, Negative Nancy.
Good job, Leanne. You did it once.
Jesus. She did something.
Was it something good? I see.
Come on, you're born.
You might want to restart.
You have no resonance
wanna
points in one
restart.
bezel. It's not great.
Yeah.
You look familiar. One of Victor's, was it? How the mighty have fallen.
Not so
I have no recommendations for you.
He's trouble.
Really? I'm shocked by that because there's a recommendation I would definitely expect you to have.
Yeah.
Aside from Go Fight and Win, of course.
My doctor was an older man.
I don't think you get to say that goes without saying. I'm pretty sure you're still obliged to say it.
Airborne. 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 Woo!
That hurt.
It wasn't great.
Are you trembling?
I'm not afraid of you.
You should be. This guy's creepy as shit. You seen this guy?
He is.
That's not good.
Oh boy. That's not great.
Fine.
You can do it?
These stones were
Yeah,
That's about right.
this has been a much longer one than intended. But what can you do?
I mean, just because I'm that asshole, I did sort of mention this.
Yeah, it's fine. It had to be done.
I mean, yeah, I probably did.
Which of these stars is yours?
They're all mine.
That would be, if this was a movie, that'd be an interesting way to resolve this fight. Like, figure out which
Just shoot the
quartz was his and
ceiling.
just shoot it off the ceiling, yeah.
Oh shit! I did it again.
Yeah, you did.
I mean,
did
you
do
have
it
a
again.
resonance point, but I don't think it's enough. Maybe you're supposed to be dividing some amount of your attention on the ads to get more bezels, but I don't know what the right balance of that would be.
Yeah, I mean that's clearly the solution, but I like. Yeah.
Where's the end?
Too slow.
There you go. You got one.
Just scratch damage full hit.
Yeah, right. Strong weak.
Alternatively, just position Leanne right next to him and just only spend her turn without using hero actions, just firing as much as possible.
Yeah, it seems
Can't
good.
possibly go wrong.
Go away, old man. Excellent.
Who needs a turn in there? You should probably. Yeah. So like when the share play randomly ends,
Victors, was it?
Yeah.
like I guess it's just suddenly my turn.
Something tells me he's trouble.
I mean, we could just reset the share play.
What? No, that's too much work. You can't do that.
I mean, wouldn't it... Oh. No, I guess I see your point.
No, it's. I think it's fine as long as we don't stop recording and we won't have to sync or anything.
I think that's true. I feel like it makes more sense to do it that way. But, Tech raises the point of he has all the buttons.
I don't know what that means. Oh, I see. I see. Technically, it is more work
Yeah.
Yes, are you trembling?
as opposed to just
I'm not
him.
afraid of you.
Right.
But I
That was
mean,
the point.
the share play has to get restarted anyways at some point because somebody needs to watch.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. We've definitely had a couple of Horizon Zero Dawn where we did not follow that ideology.
It's true.
How come there isn't a boss in this game, like one of those giant mechs or something, that has a gun whose barrels are made out of barrels?
It's a good question. What is the barrel for? I really want to know. Ooh!
It's for transporting liquid, obviously.
Is there like a anti-electricity potion you can take right now?
There's some equipment that may or may not be attached to someone. There may also be an anti-being electrocuted thing, but I honestly don't remember such a thing.
Does
Unless
Perfect
it's
Aid
just
do
a
it?
generic. I think Perfect Aid just heals like direct.
There it is, right there. Cure kit.
Oh, there you
Cures
go.
all status ailments. Share play will stop in 1 minute.
Now, how do I do this.
Come on, you can do better than that.
Nice. You lost all your resonance points, but it's something.
Who needs
Yeah, since I have no
resonance
resonance points, I can just do this.
Yeah.
Whoop.
Seems good.
You make
Ooh.
a better dog.
You might want to hold on for a sec.
Better corpse.
Yep, holding.
Yeah, that seems wise.
Yeah.
Unholding.
Unholded.
Good luck.
Let's see.
It's like
I think I can
freeze
take.
tag.
I think I can take 2 turns to attack Gelsey some more, and then focus
Yeah.
on his dudes.
Seems good.
Worth a shot. Or several if you have the bullets for it.
Zing. Leveled up.
You're tougher than you look.
Which is actually really good because it restored all of her scratch damage.
Your grandma tell you that too?
Well, that's a low blows effort, going for the grandma. You never go for a man's grandma.
You never go for a man's grandma, it's true.
Yes.
Oh, very well played. Very well played indeed.
Man, what are these guys made of? They're so heavy. I did not remember that one. Whelps.
Is that what he said?
I'm pretty sure he literally just said the word whelps in a weird voice.
Yeah, I
Whelps.
wasn't sure what the fuck he was saying. Seems good.
Seems like a thing I want to do.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the thing. Like, if the recollection is correct, and killing all of the enemies caused them to respawn new ones, kill 3 of them?
Yeah. Or 2. Aren't there 3 of them total?
Oh, I thought it was. I thought it was 4 in addition to that.
No, I think it's only 3. But I mean, like, you kind of... Oh. It was going so well.
It was going, man.
So Victor died because his men failed
Try
him.
switching to only knives.
Because you failed them.
Got him.
Yeah, you should restart.
Trying to put you down.
You should definitely...
Oh.
Alright, so...
What do you-
You look familiar. One of Victor's, was it? How the mighty have fallen.
I think you were in the right direction that time.
Something tells me he's trouble.
Yeah. Be careful.
I don't like the sound of that.
What does the barrel do?
Shoots bullets really, really fast.
I could use a word of encouragement every now and then.
Do you like older
I
men?
think we got like a really good shot off from her. Better than usual.
Alright,
Thank you for the bezel.
I'm gonna try to suddenly know what the hell that barrel does.
Really
think you
bothering
guys-
you, huh?
Wasn't it you guys think that the bezels do to
Oh my
prevent you from
God.
taking direct damage?
What's this?
That's a good question, actually.
I'm not afraid of you.
Okay, here's a great piece of advice. Try making a triangle formation around him.
Oh!
These stones brought you happiness?
Does it say anything about what type of weapon should be used? For some reason, my no energy addled brain read one of those items as cancer cure.
Oh, there you go.
And I was like, damn, it was in our item box the whole fucking time. Really should be paying attention to these items.
Oh, apparently you can't, Yeah, I'm just gonna...
Yeah.
You look familiar. One of Victor's, was it? How the mighty have fallen.
Not so low as you.
Something tells me he's trouble.
Yeah. Be careful.
Ooh, sunshot. Nice, well done. This person is mentioning that when he gets to half health, more dudes pop up. So they may not pop up until he gets there. Also, people are saying that the barrel does nothing. It's just a barrel.
What about the goggles? Do they do anything?
No, the goggles definitely do nothing.
Damn it. It's really
They-
banking on those goggles.
They do nothing.
What's this? Are you trembling?
I'm not afraid of you.
Have you tried starting the battle with like 10 resonance points?
Good advice.
Death will bring me all the happiness I need.
I mean, you broke his gauge, which is kind of helpful.
Super helpful. And airborne.
At this point, I think that man is more lead than person.
I know, right? Nice.
Stars above, guide me ready for this.
What the heck did he say?
Your family, boy.
Stars
Stars
above
above.
guide to
Guide
something.
me.
Well, somebody else
Exactly.
interrupted him, I think.
It did, yeah. It made it more confusing.
You're a pretty sharp dresser yourself.
Where'd you learn to fight like that?
Alright, well, at least it's Zephyr and not Leanne that's shocked. And that guy, apparently.
Tougher than you look.
Yeah, he definitely electrocuted his friend.
Your grandma tell you that too?
Think this.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
It's your eyes. Murderous eyes.
Time to die.
Nice.
He's a little scratched.
A little bit.
So Victor died because his men failed him?
And your men died because you failed them.
How are there so many wars when there's like no other country?
It's a good question.
Good. What made you leave the army?
Bad uniforms.
Like that snappy retort?
So good.
I didn't like the army clothes.
Hey, Zephyr's better now.
Where'd you get
Okay.
that outfit? The toilet
Ooh,
store?
Vacheron's been poisoned?
Poison's real bad, isn't it? Doesn't that do direct damage?
I think
No,
it
I don't
does,
think it
yeah.
matters here, right?
Care for a closer look?
You say not that it matters? Seems very relevant considering how much scratch
Yeah,
damage
he just lost all of his health. You might want to perfect game him or something.
Yeah, you do have the item box.
Belongs in fairy tales.
Ooh, that's regrettable.
What is it? Perfect aid?
Perfect Aid would be the one.
Yeah. Do it.
Come on, you can do better than that.
Bam.
Drink it with your head.
I would cross with Leanne and scratch him again, and then hit him with...
I can't cross with Leanne.
Can't do that. He's at one bezel.
Oh, shit. Fuck.
Going
Does anybody have
super
hat?
well.
No.
Oh, Jesus.
How about this?
They're all about to hit Zephyr. Oh, it didn't do too bad, actually. I mean, shoot him, I
Zephyr's
guess.
casually juggling some bottle-shaped item.
Yeah. I wish there was
Yeah, all
something you could use to
item spots.
regain your bezels. 41.
I mean, that'd be nice.
Sorry.
It's a little against the spirit, I guess.
What? Get out of here, Siri. Stop talking at me.
It happened to me in the middle of merit teacher conferences.
Oops.
Come on, hit.
Woof.
Jeez.
This is... It was going so well.
Can't take, like, more than a turn of just, like, direct attacks from these guys.
Yeah.
Once you get in this position, it's pretty hard.
They're all attacking Zephyr. He's gonna get hit again. Is there a way to restore scratch damage?
Scratch? Yeah.
I would do it. He's about to get hit. Is it just first aid?
How many
I don't
hit
think I've
points does
literally
it
ever
has?
used a first aid.
I don't think so either.
Completely heals all scratch.
This medical item is outright lavish!
Do it.
Well, we're never ever gonna use.
Well, wait, the
items.
other ones are for like 4,000. Isn't that sufficient?
I don't know how
I don't
much
know.
is necessary.
2,280. It's right there.
Oh,
on the-
now we know. I mean, if we're just gonna play this game, I'm just gonna sit here and shoot at Gelsey.
Do it.
This hypothetically could work.
Not really my kind of weapon.
It's not great.
It's not great. I mean, if Zephyr tanks everything.
Wait, are you... Okay, you switch back to gun. For a second I thought you were gonna use a healing item and target him. I'm like, don't do that.
You might want to get a little closer with Leanne.
You run the risk of them starting to target her, I guess? Well, if
Yeah.
that's... I mean...
Oh, sure. Good idea.
Now I'm packing heat.
Yeah, maximum charge rings.
Nice.
Everything will come into focus.
He broke someone else's gauge.
You did!
Oh, right.
Also, you appear to have lit the other guy on fire. Or maybe you didn't light either of them on fire?
Woo!
Strong lead.
You should heal
don't
Zephyr. This isn't going as bad as I thought it would.
Yeah, well, we're basically cheating. Like, you're not supposed to...
No!
Oh my god!
No! Come on!
Such garbage.
Alright folks, I think we gotta call it an episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Join us next time when we will definitely beat this guy.
Yeah, definitely.
It makes total sense if you don't think about it.
Don't most things fit that description?
Maybe.
Walker looks so sad and also hideous when you take off all his clothes. Which, incidentally, has almost certainly been spoken of me at some point.
Don't Smackdowns help you get items?